John here. Good to be back. And as always, I have a lot to say. Had a remarkable meeting with a new client this week that really opened my eyes a good bit this week and today. And I've been thinking about this client ever since then. And I wanted to address it in a video today because I think what I'm going to share with you today is probably more important than your investments. It's really a mindset about how to look at your investments, how to look at your life, how to look at your future, and how to face tough times, what tools to use. Client's in my office. He works at the large plant here locally down the river. He was a referral from his uncle, who's a client of mine. He had 2 kids, wife, done real well for himself, was a good saver. And we've been talking for a couple weeks now, and he just recently became a client as of this week. And by the way, I thought of this man literally every hour of the day since this conversation occurred. He really made an impression upon me. And it really made me think it's very important that I convey to you these things to where you'll be better served as well. We're all finished doing business. He done his paperwork, and then he made a simple comment. He said, "Well, we'll see how this goes." And it really caught my attention. Partially because I thought I could hear some fear and uncertainty in his voice. He had already told me that he had done a lot of research on my company before he hired me. He had prayed on this. So I knew it was a big issue for him. And I said, "What do you mean?" "Well, we'll see how the market's going to do." I said, "That doesn't matter." He looked at me incredulously. It doesn't matter what the market's going to do because we can't control the market. All we can control is how we respond to the market. And when we look at these situations like this, these fearful situations, you're going to pivot on 4 different pivot points: fear, courage, control, and compromise. He was pivoting on fear. And when you pivot on fear and you give in to fear, it grows and becomes worse. It doesn't pay you a dividend. I said, this year, I think the market might be a very volatile market. Think it's going to be a volatile market. I have no doubt about it. I think that's what we're going to have. However, 1 out of every 3 years is a down year. That means that out of 3 years, every 2 markets are good markets. So we can't control these markets, but we can control how we respond to them. In your case, what have we already done? Are you aware of that? He looked at me a bit astonished and goes, "Well, not really." I'm thinking, well, I hadn't done my job. I said, "Well, look at your basket of money. You've got a good bit of money that's put away in investments that can't lose money. No loss. Some more money that's limited how much loss it can have. And the money you have in stocks is situated where we're never going to need to sell that for income. We should never have to do that. So if you go through a bad year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, we're going to be okay. But control what we can't control. But the idea of focusing on what you think the market's going to do is an absurd reality because I know of nobody that can control the market. All we control is what we do. And that's why JC and I always put a focus on trying to provide steady streams of income for our clients to avoid that risk. So I talked to that gentleman about 4 days ago. I've thought about him every hour of the day since then because he's part of the reason I'm in business. That type of man is one of my most desired clients. Now you might say, "John, how can somebody that's worried about the investments, how can that be one of your desired clients?" Well, I'll tell you why. I can make the most difference there. I'll educate this man every time we visit. He will learn. He'll get confident. He'll no longer worry about his money. What do you think that does for me? If you're my client that was 6 months ago very worried about the market, and now you're not, how do I feel? Or if we're in a bad bear market, things just going down terrible, and you're not worried, how do you think I feel? You see, these tough markets that we have from time to time, they're what I work for. Because that's where I can make the biggest difference. Not just sitting on my rear end doing nothing, but having a plan to control what we can't control. And all of you should know that your portfolios, virtually all of our clients get portfolios that where a large segment of your money isn't guaranteed type money. So this man already had these fears, they were unwarranted, he just didn't know any better. So what I'll do with him, and I'll meet with him here in next month's time, I'll review again with him, and I want to get him to understand that these stocks, although they may very well be the best long-term investments, they're probably the crummiest short-term investments. And to understand that we're not living off those stocks. Does that make sense to you? I hope I've conveyed my point. I'm going to try to go more through this because this represents something much more than your money. it's your peace of mind, your quality of life. If you're 65 years old and retired, and you spend the next 20, 25 years worried about how you're going to do with the market, man, that really robs you. And it's what I am in business for. You probably heard me say it a dozen times. I'm here to enable you to have a life you otherwise wouldn't have. And part of it is with a greater understanding. We had a great year last year. I think going forward, some of the things we're seeing are going to probably result in a good market, but I don't know. I think some of the deregulation that the government's going to be doing back in the Reagan administration when all the deregulation occurred really helped the markets a lot. The oil and gas emphasis, I think, is going to really help with inflation because that's really the inflation killer is gas, the fuel. And they're going to really open the floodgates on that. But you know what? That may not work that way. Just may not work that way. So what I'm going to do on a daily basis is research, investigate, and learn. And that's why occasionally I come to you with a new idea, because if all I do is the same thing every year with every client, I know I'm not going to achieve my goal. I know we're not going to be as efficient, we're not going to make as much, and you're not going to be as much at peace. So I hope this video landed good on your ears. I would love your comments on this. Did you like this video? Did it help this video? Tell me this. Did you get a better understanding of how your money's working and how it's situated? And when you come in for your reviews, I'll be going over exactly how you're allocated, why it's done that way, and why you don't have any reason to be concerned. So don't hesitate to let me know how I'm done with this. Looking forward to hearing from it. Talk to you soon. John Nealon.